It only took 1/10 of a second for your brain to begin judging me. It's okay. It is natural. We make our first assessments that quickly. Did you just judge that snap? We assess and judge in the blink of an eye. And every day, we watch other people do it also. Channel surfing, scrolling on social media, and perhaps the most terrifying for single people, the online dating swipe. That's how fast rejection happens over there, y'all. This behavior, where we quickly move on to the next option, is showing up at work also. The median employee tenure is down to 3 years and 7 months, and it's declining. This single-serving culture has created a turtle shell effect. We are so afraid of being seen, judged, and rejected, we're hiding parts of ourselves and sending an avatar out into the world to live our lives. This bad habit is creating deep impacts professionally, socially, and mentally. We are experiencing a loneliness epidemic, and rates of suicide and depression are accelerating. We hide who we are in hopes of fitting in, but the fear of rejection is actually causing us to reject ourselves. And it is criminally too common to feel lonely in a room full of people. Now, what many people don't know is that your experiences and characteristics that make you who you are your most unique and valuable assets. These are your obsessions, your quirks, your personality, your family, your traditions, your life library. I've interviewed more than 3,000 people in my career, and each one was special. Otherwise, I could have just interviewed one person over and over again. Hiding who you are from the world holds back progress. How you interpret and reshare the world around you is your greatest contribution to society. But most importantly, when who you are in here doesn't show up out there, I feel it now. The internal cognitive dissonance you experience creates an emotional implosion. Showing who you are is terrifying. It's terrifying. Hiding is so much easier. And I know this because I started hiding who I was around 2nd grade. Growing up in a home with drugs and poverty, abuse, and neglect, 7-year-old me created a public persona, an avatar. So teachers and guidance counselors didn't ask too many nosy questions about my home life. When I was 16, I got pregnant, and I hid my pregnancy for 6 months from my family, my friends, and my teachers. Teen moms are so quickly discarded by our society, and I had been called white trash my whole life. I believed if I wanted the life I'd always dreamed of, I had to hide who I was. And sadly, it worked. I put myself through college with 2 children in 3.5 years. I created a successful career as a TV journalist and later as an entrepreneur. I had a life no one expected for a statistic like me. But the outside me was so very different from the inside me. And my avatar was attracting all the wrong people personally and professionally. My life algorithm was all messed up. It got to the point where I had to make a choice. Keep going through the motions of my life as a shell, or lead with who I am, accept the rejection that always comes with that, and also attract the people who were perfectly aligned with me. And that decision was life-changing. First, I learned how to accept myself. My work flourished. I began attracting better people and opportunities, more aligned, and the wrong ones became obvious and easier to avoid. I'd gotten my life algorithm back. But I had seen this happen over my 30-year media career. The most recognized leaders I'd interviewed lead with who they are. And love them or hate them, they show us the parts of themselves that influences their decisions, their values, their mission, and their movement. They expect rejection, and they move on quickly. But the people who love them have something to latch onto. They have a shared identity, and they want to be a part of their communities. Those who lead with their who connect more deeply, successfully build their networks to forward their movements, and they accomplish their goals faster. So, to lead with who you are, you need to know who you are. So who are you? To help clients figure this out, I usually ask them to come up with 5 to 7 identifiers. Today, I just want you to think of one. This is something about you that influences your decisions, your values, your life goals. Okay, so think about this. You know how you always know someone is from Texas? Because within moments of meeting them, they say, I'm from Texas. It's because it's a part of their identity. It's who they are. And New Yorkers, y'all are the same way. And I love that because I know exactly what I'm getting into. People with a strong faith usually lead with that when you meet them. That is the goal. Identify who you are and get it into the conversations early on. Now, if you're like me and who you are isn't as obvious as where you're from or what you believe, think about other things that are really important to you, a lens that you look through. Some of my clients' identifiers have included cancer survivor. That's a big one. Comic book nerd, animal lover, oldest daughter even, someone obsessed with systems and processes. Now, we hide parts of who we are for a lot of reasons, especially personal safety. But the beauty of this is, it is your story. You get to decide what you share. When I did this process, I came to really embrace that I am maternal and nurturing. And I ran from that for a very long time. Some people have felt smothered by that in my life, but now I know they can move out of the way and make room for the people who need me in their lives. Absolutely. I also identify as an advocate for mental health care. When I began to heal a life of deep trauma through therapy, it became part of my who, and my who informed my why. I started a nonprofit to help other women have access to mental health care. And by leading with my who, hundreds of women are now part of my community where we normalize mental health needs and seeking care. That is who we are. Whatever you decide defines who you are. I hope when you have a chance to show someone, you come out of your turtle shell and you lead with your who. Because who you are has value. Who you are can be loved. And I'm telling myself this too. But who you are is needed in healing others, in social justice, and in leading life-saving movements. But ultimately, when you connect with who you are, you learn how to accept yourself. And then when you come out into the world, the person we see is you. Thank you.